My daughter would want to learn.
Incredible, right?
You could kill someone with those.
I could. Who? Who wants to die? Death by heel.
Are you excited to go into your second season as the most kick-ass woman on TV?
Oh, oh my God, that was so sweet. I so am. You guys, the plan for the second season is so exciting. I'm sure you talked to her. I don't know how much she told you, but
They won't tell us anything.
really?
He said let Maggie tell us.
You're good, you. What's nice is that, in the first season you saw a certain dynamic, certain characters paired together. I mean, for the first half of the first season, I didn't even work with my co-stars ever. And it was like guest star, mania for me. And so this season you see different pairings of people, which is really nice. Pairings I think you're gonna like. Good chemistry, good dynamic, yeah.
I like the idea of things being all mixed up and totally changed. It's going to be like a whole new show all over again, isn't
Honestly, last season, from the beginning of the season to the end, it's a different show. I mean, we certainly found what show we wanted to be halfway through the season, which was nice, and it got a little older and more mature, darker. I always wanted to be darker and darker. Yeah, you're really already, I mean, I've read the third episode already, and, from the first episode to the third episode, I'm like, really? Wow. It's a completely different dynamic. It's amazing.
What originally drew you to the role of Nikita?
I don't know. It was funny when it was mentioned to me. It was like, I literally like this. CW, Nikita, you, TV. I mean, it was like 5 words. I sort of stood there and went, because I'd never thought about doing TV ever. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It never crossed my mind. And I fall on the more minority side of the business, and so I wasn't sure that this was even happening. I'm like, who wants to see me starring in a TV series? I didn't know if people wanted that, and so I was a little like, sure, me TV. And then it's sort of like I met with Warner Brothers and Peter Roth, he's the most amazing man ever. We sort of sat down, and it was just, all the elements made sense to me. It was like Danny Cannon and Craig and Peter, and like everything kind of came together. So it felt right. I always make decisions with my heart. That's what I do, and it's hard in this business, but I do it anyway. Because you'll always come out okay in the end if the decision came from a good and an honest place, Yeah. So, yeah. And I was a fan of the French film, for sure. Huge fan.
As a minority, I mean, your show is the only show on television to have a female minority lead.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you?
For my community, it's funny too, because I didn't even know that, and then I was sort of, at home, and there was this Hollywood Reporter article, and it was on the cover of the Hollywood Reporter, and I was like, why is this article on the cover of the Hollywood Reporter? And I started reading it, and I was like, whoa, what? It was one of those moments where I couldn't believe that an Asian American. Can you imagine? I'm only half. Like, my dad's Irish Polish, my mother's Vietnamese, but I'm half, and it's already hard for me. Can you imagine if so? So I just think, what excites me is that after this, it won't be such a big deal, and people will be able to go out for things and not be afraid that this is not happening, because now it's happening. So that makes me very happy for the community.
Can you describe the new dynamic between Alex and Nikita, and if you're going to miss season 1, their friendship at all, or if you like the new direction?
The new direction is very cool. I think, we are introducing another girl and another guy. So we're going to have a couple of new people. We're going to have like some old favorites back. But it's interesting. I love the idea of, Nikita has great love for this girl. She really, I think in saving her and doing the things that she did, part of it is sort of a self-salvation kind of thing, that was Nikita, that drugged out kid who needed somebody. And so I think part of rescuing her from herself, was therapy, I think, a little bit. It's sort of like, that was me. And if somebody just could have been there for me, maybe I wouldn't be this. And so I think the pain of seeing her make the wrong decisions, in Nikita's mind, going down the wrong path is really painful for her. And so you're going to see a little bit of that sort of guilt. Maybe I should have done things differently. But then, she has Michael, which is nice, who's kind of the antithesis of that sort of thinking. Like, Nikita, the whole world, the problems of the world are not all your fault. And this girl, let her go. It's done. Like, he's just like, I'm over it. We're moving on. And Nikita's got that pain in her heart.
Were you surprised that Michael and Nikita were brought together so early?
I'm telling you, the guy's a genius. He likes to take the thing that usually takes 4 seasons to do and do it right away. And you're like, whoa, now what? But, and I've had numerous, like, you sure? Is like, yeah. I'm like, you sure? Yeah. Or do we have enough? Yeah. Like, he knows what's happening. And he even does it episodically. Like, he'll take an episode where you think, you'll see the opening, you're like, this is going to happen. And the next act it happens. And you're like, shit, that's not the ending now. Well, that was the ending. So the ending ends up being something very different. He's so friggin' good at that. I don't understand how he pulls that off every time. But again, like I said, the 3rd episode already, turned around the 3rd episode. So give me a ride.
It keeps it fresh, I think. It keeps
I think
the
so
show
too.
fresh.
I mean, even sometimes I worry a little bit. Like, is this moving too fast? Are we gonna have enough material? And it's season 1 turned out okay, So I'm thinking, trust you. I'm thinking. Craigers, as I call him.
What can Michael and Nikita fans look forward to in season 2?
It's finally going to be nice to see the relationship dynamic, like in the show, like as a constant-ish. They have different problems than other couples do, or they're going to, obviously, bigger problems, darker things that are going to come out during the season that they're going to have to deal with, which are going to be tough. And I think what I love about that is it's real. I mean, you don't come together and everything's not sunshine and roses for anybody. And certainly for them, the high stakes sort of life they're living, you're going to see a little bit of a role reversal in that in season 1, Nikita was hell-bent on her mission and something she was willing to die for. And now she's got this element of a person that she loves and trusts and takes some of the weight off of her shoulders. She's a little bit like, I want to do this and I want to fix things and I do, but like, hey Michael, wouldn't it also be nice if like we could just run away and forget that this happened to us, this life that we didn't choose, and like, have that love and that care that she's never had in her life. And Michael's a little bit like, yeah, we will, but we also got to do all this stuff. And she's like, okay. So it's a real like male-female dynamic, except there's just a lot more at stake.
So he's basically gonna keep Nikita's feet to the flames a little bit.
Pretty much, which is interesting because she didn't have that person in season 1. I mean, she was that person, right? So now you're gonna see the softer side of Sears a little bit, and then he's gonna sort of like keep her, in a certain place, but you are going to see her be a little bit more of a woman and like want the things that normal people want, and whether that's possible for her or not ever remains a big.
So Nikita will be she'll have a different kind of strength to her this next season.
Yeah, I think so. The strength that I actually like better, the more internal sort of like. Even in season 1, like the stuff that I enjoyed the most was when you actually saw her vulnerable and you actually saw things that hurt her, and so you kind of got a little bit more of an insight on who she is and what pains her. Those are the things that really, moved me with the character. You can fight and you can shoot people and you can do all these things, and that's fine, it's exciting, but I think to be led in emotionally to someone like her who's so hard is a big deal.
Yeah. The tough girls aren't always kick-ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that you build out of circumstance, and this person has certainly been through so much. So, I mean, the tough exterior it's a survival tactic. I mean, it's something that she's had to do, and now she's got this man that she loves, and it's sort of like when you're in a great relationship, you go home and you're like, there you are, and I don't have to like worry about everything, and I can share this with you, and you can understand or not. But if you're in a good relationship, normally that's the person that allows you to soften, and so you're going to see that with them this season, which is going to be nice. Finally.
Can I ask a slightly nerdy question?
I love nerdy questions.
You're bugging me and my friends forever. Okay, you work with Shane. You work with Tim Oliphant and Live for Your Die Hard.
And they look exactly
I
like.
was going to say,
Somebody said to me the other day, they're like, I didn't know Shane did. Or they didn't know that Justified was on the air as we speak, and they said something like, hey, did you know that Shane did a series called Justified? I'm like, no, yes he did. And they were like, what? That's, they thought it was him, and so they bought it.
oh God.
And then they realized that it wasn't. This is like a crew member with a grip or somebody. They're like, oh my God, Shane's in Justified. I'm like, are you like seriously the dumbest person on the planet? That's another show that shoots at the same time we shoot. But it was a poster where you had like a little bit of a goatee.
Yeah.
I know, but they're such different people, though, that to me they look nothing like they're like the opposite personality. So it's funny.
Yeah, because I help my friend run one of Tim's fan sites, and it's like she goes, "Did you see the resemblance? Because it looks totally alike to me." And I'm going,
They so do when I see pictures of them. I know, he is a pain in the ass. No, I'm not looking forward to season 2.